So good morning, Action Coach community. So our guest today on our business spotlight is Peadar Kenny from Imprint. Peadar, you're very welcome and great to see you this morning.
Thanks very much, Tom. Great to be on. Really appreciate you reaching out and happy to do this. This is going to be great.
Fantastic. So tell the audience here, what is it that you do and how long have you been doing it?
So yeah, we're Imprint Esports. We're a very early stage startup based out of the Launchbox cohort in Trinity College Dublin. We're building a recruitment platform for esports teams, purpose-built for esports teams as an enterprise solution for a problem that they currently face, which is that they don't really have a kind of a centralized way of recruiting players to their teams. So we're building an enterprise suite, as it were, to kind of centralize and streamline the process of bringing and onboarding new players into their teams.
And is that for all sports?
So it's for esports specifically, which I suppose I probably should have explained. Esports is, if you've ever heard of, it's basically competitive video gaming. So guys who play like say PlayStation or PC games, these guys play at a really high professional level, but there's only the same 10 or 12 players that kind of bounce around between teams at the pro level. And we're trying to kind of allow for a way for new guys to come in using this data analytics platform to kind of increase the kind of gaze that these esports teams have.
Okay, so there's data analytics in it. You've got an IP presumably on this as well.
Yeah, we like I wouldn't say necessarily an IP. We're more we're more kind of just using like this. We're bringing a lot of different tools that already exist, and we're trying to kind of improve on them and bring them all into one place.
Fantastic. So you're a recent startup then, and so I presume COVID didn't have too much of an impact on you, or did it?
I wouldn't say, well, I suppose it didn't. It didn't in the sense that the team that we have now probably wouldn't be a team if it wasn't for COVID, because I ended up just by chance, I moved in with one of my now co-founders about a year ago, and we started talking about a business idea because we'd seen some of the things that were going on in the college, and we're obviously locked up at home. We didn't really have much to do, so we spent a lot of time working away and refining this idea. Yeah, so that's kind of where that came from.
And so the pandemic didn't going to be affect you, but it kind of led you to starting the business and putting a plan together. I'm sure is that the way it kind of happened.
Yeah, it was exactly that. Like, I mean, like I said, we were all indoors basically. This was just around the time of the second lockdown after Christmas, and we just basically every day sat down, talked for a few hours about what we wanted to do, did a bit of research, and just bounced more and more ideas off the wall, and eventually we have what we have now. We came to what we have now.
Excellent. And so who would be, can you tell our viewers here today, who would be a good customer for you? Can you give us a description of the kind of customer you'd be looking for?
Yeah, so I suppose our customer in the general sense are these esports teams. So in the same way that Manchester United or Chelsea have their scouts that go out and go looking at these different soccer players and write up reports on them, these esports teams have the same thing. But the key difference there is that because esports is inherently a digital kind of, I don't know what the word is. It takes place digitally. Everything is digitally verifiable. So it's a much easier process to gather these kind of metrics than it would be for general.
And as a matter of interest, is security important in your game?
So we're not building a game, as it were. We're basically.
No, I meant in your business. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I mean, security is important in anything, but a lot of the data, or the metrics that we might look at are usually quite publicly available. So it's kind of it's less us storing it and more us looking at it from somewhere else.
So far, since you began business, what's your biggest learning you've got so far as a business owner?
Well, I mean, there's been so many, but I suppose just the importance of iterating, going out, trying to figure out a problem for your customer, trying to solve that problem as quickly as possible, get it out to them, get feedback, iterate on that again, and just keep that process going. I suppose that's been my biggest learning.
Fantastic. And what so far have been the biggest issues that you had to overcome?
I mean, I suppose that's the generic one for early stage startups is obviously money. We've been lucky enough that we won our Dragon's Den competition that takes place in the college. So we were able to get a bit of funding from that, and Launchbox, of course, provides some funding as well. So yeah, I suppose just and I mean balancing everything. Like there's three co-founders, and I'm sure you know from talking to other people, like in such an early stage business, like you have to wear all the hats. You know, one day you're a marketing officer, the next day you're a software dev, the next day you're something else. So it's just balancing, the whole balancing act of running a business, I guess.
So the organizational chart is something that will eventually you put that together when you reach a certain level.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, at this stage, it's too early to be trying to kind of divide up things that.
Very good. So because of the business I'm in, tell me, who's been the best coach you ever had and why?
The best coach. The best coach that I ever had personally is a man called Brian Egan. He founded a software solutions company in Longford, which is where I'm from. He's also part now of a startup that's working in the fiber optics industry. And like he gave me my start when I was in transition year. He brought me in and gave me work experience. And basically every summer since then, he's brought me back in and he's taught me, he's allowed me to work on something new. And he's given me so many different skills in terms of software development and kind of the technical side of building a business, which has just been invaluable to me.
Fantastic. And what then so far have you learned most about yourself, Peadar?
I suppose I have a much better work ethic than I thought that I had. I guess it's just been kind of this I don't know if resilience the word, but just kind of this intent and just getting the head down and plowing on with something that I'm really, really passionate about. It's a kind of it's a motivation that I've never really found in myself before, but ever since starting this, like it's been incredible, you know.
And I suppose when it's your own business, the buck stops here with you. So therefore that gives you a bit of extra motivation rather than say just going in, getting a job and somebody else is managing you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You've to manage yourself now. Excellent. So tell me, what does the future look like? And what do you think the main challenges you'll face would be?
So I suppose the future for us at the minute, we're currently building our minimal viable product. So the short-term future would hopefully be able to get that, out to some potential customers who we've been talking to, iterating and getting feedback. And then from that, I suppose our biggest issue will then be kind of scaling up, because once we can really prove that our concept is viable and something that's going to work, it's from getting from there onto the next step into a kind of a more, say, rather than focusing on just Ireland and the UK, expanding out to the European market and more, you know.
Okay, so it is a global intent that you have here as well, which is all of these things are fantastic. Again, the biggest challenges, do you think, would it be more recruitment, or do you think more getting customers? What do you think the biggest challenge you face?
I suppose it's getting customers. Like we're a B2B business, and one of the few things that we're upskilling ourselves in at the moment, but we don't have a lot of real world experience in, is sales. And like, given the timeline of B2B sales, like it's just acquiring customers will probably be a challenge for us, but it's something that I'm well prepared for at the same time.
Interesting. Okay, very good. What would you say to any other young man or woman going into business? What advice would you give them?
Going into business, just like I said earlier, just do. Like there's a lot of people that come up with these great ideas and then they don't really do anything about them. But just if you have an idea,
a lot of them.
Exactly. Just any idea at all. Just try it. Try and get something out there, even if it's not perfect or whatever you want to call it in your own eyes. Just get it out there. Get feedback. Iterate. Come back again. Like embrace failure. Embrace doing something wrong.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Failure is good. If you're not failing, not trying. Fantastic. Great stuff. So if you started your business again, and I know you're only just going, would you do anything differently?
To be honest, I don't think I would. Like over the past year, it's been an incredible experience getting to work on something like this as a student entrepreneur. And like, I mean, the experience that I've had with myself and my co-founders, I don't think I'll ever forget them. It's been completely invaluable to me. And no, I don't think I change it.
But it sounds like you got a great cohort together as well. So just how do people contact you? Do you want to give your website address, your email address? How would people make touch base with you to have a conversation?
Yeah, so we have a website at imprint.gg. That's imprint.gg. If you have any business inquiries, you can reach out to us at contact@imprint.gg, or reach out to myself, Peadar Kenny, Adam Farrell, or Liam Junkerman on LinkedIn. We'll be happy to answer any queries.
Fantastic. Listen, I'd like to thank you very much indeed for investing your time in this small little interview process. And I wish you every success. And if we can be of any help to you, let us know. Thank you so much, Peadar.
Thank you so much, Tom. Really appreciate it.